What's up, guys? So I got this comment from one of my new subscribers, and she is what I would consider like a newly awakened spirit, and she's one of the variety who wasn't really asking for this. It just kind of happened to her, this awakening, this energetic, oftentimes called Kundalini Awakening, where all of your spiritual energy that is lying dormant in most people gets unleashed in your body. And when people aren't expecting it and aren't really wanting this necessarily even in the first place, it's pretty scary, and there's a lot of really bizarre symptoms that come along with it. So she had a few different concerns about relationships, about whether she needs to or doesn't need to meditate, and she's in a weird place where she can't even go out for a walk, so it's kind of hard for her to center herself, and she's just feeling a little bit confused and like funky about all this. And having gone through this exact scenario, this exact process myself, having a spontaneous awakening that I wasn't inviting upon myself. And again, I found myself in the midst of this fucking chaos and had to kind of find my way out on my own. There was like nothing available at the time. I'm sharing with her some wisdom on those topics I just mentioned, a little bit of a message to a newly awakened spirit that I think a lot of you guys may get something out of. So I just wanted to share this video publicly so you guys can see what I told her, because again, I think it might help you as well. So I'm gonna forward it over to my response right now. What's up, girl? I appreciate your question, and I'm going to answer you specifically while I can. Right now I don't have that many subscribers, so I can do this. And your questions have inspired what I'm going to talk about in some future videos, but right now I didn't want to leave you hanging to wait for those, so I want to kind of just briefly go over some of the more specific concerns that you had. So the first thing you mentioned that stuck out to me is that you had what you call a crown chakra opening. It sounds to me like that was like the initiation, like your energetic awakening, your Kundalini awakening. And Kundalini, all that really is a word that people use to point to energy, an energetic awakening. And this energy is, I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe really. It's like our divine life force, you could call it. And we all have it. It's always flowing through us, but everybody has like a capsule of it, you could say, a big cask of it, like lying dormant, like a big amount of it by the base of their spine. And sometimes that like cask can kind of crack open, and that causes this unleashing of this like energy basically. And the problem is that almost always our bodies are not yet ready for all that energy. It's like there's too much energy being squeezed into our system that is just not ready and prepared and used to that amount of intense energy. So that's why we have the symptoms that you mentioned. You have trouble, like, you struggle in like social situations. You find people drain your energy. You're real sensitive to people's energies. And there's a lot of other symptoms I would imagine you've experienced also that is due to this, because I've gone through the same thing. I know how it feels, and this overabundance of energy can manifest in a lot of different ways. So basically, some of the things you can do to help is, well, briefly I want to address, you asked about meditation. Do you have to meditate? No, you don't have to meditate, man. You just got to do what works for you. Meditation is a great tool. I found that because I had this exact same thing happen to me. I had a full-blown Kundalini awakening, totally unexpected. I didn't know what the fuck a Kundalini awakening was, and it happened to me during a psychedelic mushroom trip. And I found that when I would meditate or do any of the things that were like traditionally suggested, like yoga, meditation, eat a vegetarian diet, that just made my symptoms far worse, because it almost invited more energy in. I already had too much. So you need to kind of ground your energy. And if you don't like meditation, don't do meditation. That's fine, man. Meditation is simply focusing your awareness in a particular spot. It's really that simple. It's just like learning to focus your awareness. And you can do, a lot of times people do meditation without even really knowing it. It doesn't have to be a formal thing. But what I used to do that would help me a lot is I would just lay down on my bed sometimes and do nothing. No focusing, no intentions, no meditation, nothing. I would just lay there, and I would kind of like talk to this energy, because it made its presence quite known to me. So I didn't feel too crazy talking to it. And I kind of said to it, listen, do your thing, man. You know, I'm giving you this opportunity. You obviously are trying to like move about in my body. So go ahead. I'm just going to let go, let you do your thing. And I learned to trust this energy. This energy is like, it's like divine energy. It only wants to help awaken you. It's not malicious, even though it can cause these fucked up symptoms. So that helped it kind of like balance itself out. So that's one thing you can do. I oftentimes recommend walking. I know you said walking isn't really an option for you. What I would do is I would create some little space within your home, something that can represent calmness and stillness to you. Like some people make an altar. You don't have to worship anything per se, but something that reinforces a certain state of being. You could literally just hang a photograph on a wall and just go sit by it. Something that makes you feel kind of good and tranquil. Maybe it's painting, something, a physical representation of something that you can become conditioned to associate a certain state of being with. Again, it could be, I would create your own little sacred place in your house. It doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be a whole room, something small that you can just go be by. And maybe you put a couple of crystals there, light some incense, a candle, just kind of chill. You don't have to meditate, but just sit there. And don't even try to think of anything in particular, just be. Practice just sitting and being. And at first, you're going to sit there and be bored and restless and think, I'm fucking bored. What could I do? This is boring, you know. But eventually, if you just sit there, all that like boredom, those thoughts, those like feelings of wanting to go do stuff, those will settle down. And you'll get into like a state of peace and tranquility. And eventually, because you're coming to associate this space with peace and tranquility, you'll get to that state like faster and faster and faster, quickly bypassing all the boredom and like the anxiety and all that kind of stuff. And again, it'll just be like your own little sacred place you can go when you need to calm yourself down. And it's good because, you know what, most people do have the option of walking. I always recommend walking, but you know what, you got to deal with whatever limitations you have. They're there for a reason. It's because you don't need walking. If you can't walk really, or you just hate the idea of walking, just honestly don't want to do it, and don't walk. Fuck walking. Fuck meditation. You'll find another way. There's another way that's better for you, and that's why those options aren't so easily available to you. Maybe it's what I said. Maybe it's you'll find something else someone else said. I don't know, but know that whatever you need, you'll get, basically. You're never stranded or screwed over or cut off by spirit or by, your path is always perfectly laid out. And only in time will you be able to look back and see that's true. Lastly, you mentioned that a lot of people are kind of draining your energy. And there's a kind of a fine line here, because when you have this like awakening thing in the earlier stages, again, there's all this energy, there's all this like extreme sensitivity to like situations and people. That eventually will go away, by the way, or you become so used to it, it won't affect you, it won't drain you, and you'll actually learn how to use it to be real psychic and tune into everything, and like navigate your life like a fucking like magician. But in the meantime, you have to discern who is actually like just a normal person in your life that's like that you want to keep there, that you're just being affected by because, again, your heightened sensitivity, and who is actually being shown to you as someone who maybe isn't like ideal for you, maybe someone who's taking advantage of your light. You'll find that relationships tend to change a lot as you awaken, because you go on this like rapid growth spurt, and most people aren't growing at that rate, unfortunately, and therefore you'll start to not be so much of a match for each other. I know for me, and it sounds like this might be the case for you, I discovered as I started to awaken, I started to see people for who they really were, and I learned that a lot of people kind of like unconsciously used me because I was such a good listener. Because you're like awakening, you become more in tune with your natural compassionate spirit self, and therefore when someone's talking, you're truly present. You really are listening, and most people don't get that from anybody. So when they find it, even though they don't really know why they happen to like you or be drawn to you, they're just gonna start telling you the life story. They almost like they can't help themselves. It's like the first time anyone really listened to them, and they're just gonna pour it out to you. But you, it's like
it takes energy to be a conscious, present listener, basically. And you just have to discern who is worthy of that and who is not. Is this person that you're like listening to for a half hour go on about their life? Do they allow you to do that? Can you do that to them? Will they listen to you? Or is it time to go once you want to start talking? That was the case with me and a lot of my friends. But again, it doesn't mean cut out everybody out of your life, because some of it might be that you're just hypersensitive to people's energies and you just have to learn how to kind of regulate it. For a while, I had to detach from listening so intently with people. And this was hard because I was a personal trainer. I had to sit there intimately with people, person after person, day after day. I was always with people. So I really had to learn this quick, and I had a lot of problems in the beginning. But you'll be fine. You just gotta learn. You just gotta learn yourself. You're becoming more aware every day. And as you become more aware, it's like almost like you have this new toolkit that you don't really know how to use the tools yet. So sometimes you overuse this tool and you hurt your arm. That's kind of a poor analogy, but you just have to allow yourself to go through this apprenticeship basically of a newly awakened spirit. And there's a lot of things that you'll just have to kind of learn and get a feel for. A lot of the things I can't just tell you. You just have to find out for yourself. But I'm pretty sure all the things I mentioned will help you with your situations. But more importantly than anything, just know that you will always be taken care of. Your spirit self, your higher self, will always lead the way. It'll always give you exactly what you need, exactly when you need it, and oftentimes not before. So don't insist on you needing something when it's not coming. If it's not coming, it's not coming for a reason, and you just don't need it right now, okay? But you'll be fine. Keep watching the channel. I plan to make a lot of videos that go in more detail about all these different topics that you're going through, because you're not the only one experiencing this. Again, I experienced all of this. I know exactly how to navigate it. I've come out on the other side, and I feel great now, but I understand how crazy it is. So good luck. I appreciate your kind comments and your dedication to my channel, and just your, I appreciate you. And I hope this helped you. And if not, perhaps future videos will continue to provide some clarity and guidance for you, okay? So God bless you. Good luck. You always have what it takes. Listen to your inner guru. Peace.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. So again, if you're a newly awakened spirit, know that you always have what you need. Your path is meticulously, to the fraction of a second, laid out for you by your higher divine self. And all you have to do is walk it. It's not an easy path to walk. I won't lie to you. But you all have the strength and the courage and the ability to make this journey. Otherwise, you wouldn't be awakening in the first place.